What's up, guys? Brock with Carp Catch Fishing. Due to popular demand, I'm going to be doing a little how-to on how to catch winter catfish. I'm going to give you 5 tips on things that I use personally to help me consistently catch channel cats, blue cats, and shovelheads in the wintertime or in the colder months. So we're going to get into it. Tip number 1, cut bait. You cannot beat it in the wintertime. It works for channel cats, it works for shovelheads, and it works for big blues too. So what I do is I find a little stream, find the deepest hole I can, get a little hook with some sweet corn, and I catch as many creek chubs as I can. For show, here's a bag of some bait that I caught a couple weeks ago. Got some shiners and some creek chubs of all different sizes there, depending on what fish I want to catch. So that's tip number 1, making sure you have the right bait. Tip number 2, my 15 or 30 minute rule. If you're fishing for catfish in a lake, river, wherever you're fishing for, and you haven't got a bite or any kind of action in 15 or 30 minutes, reel in your bait and change locations. It's your job in the wintertime to locate the fish. And if you don't have access to something such as an eye bobber or a deeper pro, you want to look for a couple things that'll help you find the warmer water where the fish are. Something as simple as looking for where ice isn't on the water. That's a very, very big indicator of where the fish are going to be. Sometimes it's just 2 to 3 degrees difference in the water that'll make the fish bite. Another thing that I look for when I fish rivers a lot is some kind of runoff from like a water treatment plant, something that's got a little bit more warmer water dumping into the colder water. It changes the temperature a little bit. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is bait size. Blue cats, you're going to want to use a big piece of cut bait on a pretty good size hook. They got bigger mouths, they tend to get a lot bigger than channel cats, so that's what you want to use for them. Channel cats, you want to use a little bit of smaller bait on a slightly smaller hook. Pretty much the same fish as far as feeding habits, but again, if you want to target big blues, you're going to want a big piece of bait, and that'll kind of deter the smaller channel catfish that you're not looking for to stay away from your bait. They might mess around with it for a little bit, but they can't really get it into their mouths, so that's a very important one, is using the right size bait for whatever fish you're trying to catch. Tip number 4 is staying warm. Do not let the cold weather deter you from getting out there doing what you love and catching channel catfish or blue catfish or whatever kind of fish you're fishing for. Hot Hands makes a great product. They're just air activated hand warmers, body warmers, and foot warmers. You can get at Walmart for $5 to $10. I use them all the time. I use them when I take my kids. And the big adhesive body warmers, you can stick to your base layer on your body. I usually do it on my chest and my back, and it helps me stay warm. The hand warmers are smaller, just put them in your pocket, keeps your hands warm, and the toe warmers are small also, but they're adhesive and they stick on the bottom of your socks and they keep your feet warm during the winter. If you can't stay warm during a fishing trip in the winter, it's going to be miserable. You're not going to want to do it a whole lot, so that's very important, staying warm. My final tip is knowing the forage species in the body of water that you're fishing in. If you go and cast some bait out there that the fish has never seen, a lot of the times they're not going to eat it. So a simple Google search will do wonders in helping you be productive in the winter months. A lot of the times in big lakes and rivers, it's shad is a forage species, and it's what a lot of the fish have access to and what they heavily feed on. In the wintertime, shad will get frozen in the ice, and they'll kind of sink down to the bottom when they die, and it kills a lot of the shad population off, so the catfish are feeding a lot on shad. The best way to catch shad is with a throw net or a cast net. You can get them for $20 at Walmart. Takes a little bit of getting used to be able to learn to do it, but it's worth it when you do. So just like all the other fish, shad are going to travel to deeper water in the wintertime. So I suggest a 25, maybe even 30-foot lead on your throw net to be able to let that throw net sink to the bottom and trap the shad that you want to use for bait. Pretty much when you're using cut bait also, I tend to stay away from the tail section of the cut bait because it doesn't seem to work as well. I pretty much use the head and the midsection, or if I'm fishing for blues, I'll just cut the tail off and throw the whole bait out there. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope these help. And like I said, don't let the winter deter you from going out there and having fun and doing what you love. Thanks, guys.